Hey, can you spell bombshell? I think you spell it W-I-C-K-E-R. That's Senator Wicker, who started the investigation on the Boeing 737 MAX. And he released a report. It's pretty detailed, still crawling through it, but boils down to the FAA is a little bit of a mess. And from obstruction of the IG investigations to suppression of whistleblowers to yielding to business pressures from Boeing on important safety aspects. Doesn't sound good. Implications. Hey, the MAX was innovation, had some innovation to it. We're always pushing some kind of innovation, and it's always a little bit of a risk. And I think that this just gives every excuse not to do anything that's risky at all. I think it's an excuse. Instead of doing the right thing, it's kind of just making a broad brush to that, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But I can't see that with 4 years remaining in a Republican-placed administrator that it's going to be easy to do things differently, and there'll be lots of explaining to do for a long time. The FAA and the ATO have used this crawl, walk, run thing before, and I've never seen them run, so best we're going to do is walk, and I think we're going to be stuck in crawl mode for quite a while. Hey, an even more reason to think the FAA is going to retract and be risk averse is Steve Dixon's comments at the Helicopter Association webinar they had last week, which was, hey, change hurts the system, it creates uncertainty, so, we don't like change. You have to be more collaborative in identifying risks, and there's always talk about risks, there's never any talk about opportunities. So if the FAA doesn't like to change, and until we can demonstrate that no change is more of a risk than the change, we're going to kind of be stuck. And as long as we're talking about risks, American Airlines is waiting till next week to have their first flight from Miami to New York with the Boeing 737 MAX. But Brazil's Gol Airlines flew last week for the first time, and Aeromexico is going to fly this week. So they'll be the first out of the box to go fly the 737 MAX. Hey, pretty cool. I'm not going to be on that flight, though. I'll wait to see what others do. Hey, do you ever wonder what time the president goes to sleep? Because this past week, Congress has been waking him up all the time to sign last-second CRs to keep the government open. Even now that we have some kind of agreement about what the relief package is, we still don't have a vote. And, of course, there's lots of complaining that they have only had 2 hours to read a 5,000-page document, and they should probably read it before they put it to a vote. But anyway, it looks like there's a little bit of money in there for airports, and it looks like we're going to have a pretty robust stimulus package for transportation. So at least we're off to a good start to close out 2020, maybe a bright spot in the year. Hey, pilots and controllers are in pretty important positions. Certainly don't want them getting sick. I think the ATO has done an incredible job about staffing and the way that they're moving people around in shifts and keeping them isolated and backup crews. Just kind of an amazing thing. There hasn't been like an ATC 0 in quite some time, and I think that's pretty much a miracle. In the meantime, with the vaccine now hitting the streets for frontline workers, pilots and air traffic controllers could be on that list, but the question is, can they even get the vaccine at all? And they can. They just have to take some protocols, like they can't work for 48 hours and 48 hours after the second dose and things like that. So there's still other protocols that they have to watch, but at least they're getting farther up on the list than they were yesterday. For the rest of us, unless you have health issues or you're old enough, we're going to at least be in the second tier, if not third. So it'll be a little while for us to get a shot. Sort of got a names in the news thing here now. Pete Buttigieg, and I think that I'm saying that wrong. I've seen it said Buttigieg or something like that. So, but anyway, Pete, the guy from South Bend, Indiana, who's been nominated to be the Secretary of Transportation. He brings a solid background in climate concerns and things like that. So I think we're going to see that as part of the DOT agenda, which I would expect. They've been on that task for quite some time. As a matter of fact, from the 60s, climate issues for the Department of Transportation have been a big deal. And I think what's interesting is, hey, he's a young guy, made a formidable run for the Democratic nomination, and DOT is a pretty interesting place to have that. You can travel to 50 states with purpose. You can hand out billions of dollars and put people to work. So it's a pretty nice way to expose yourself to a future political run. It'll be interesting to watch. And obviously that's the way you set up a party. I'm always looking for a reason to travel. Not exactly in the, rush in that situation, but I was kind of hoping that things would open up for the summer so that I could take Maureen to Paris and we could go to the Paris Air Show, but they've canceled it, and that's probably a smart move. However, the next Paris Air Show is until 2023. Well, the downside is it's not until 2023, but the upside is it gives us plenty of time to plan for a pretty cool trip. Important safety tip: do not piss off the United States government. That's just a, it may be obvious to some, but it's obviously not obvious to DJI, who has just been a pain in the rear to the United States government for a while. There's lots of allegations of them, doing, capturing secret stuff and sending it off to China or whatever, but that's not really what's in the news. The ban on DJI drones was taken out of NDAA, and now the Department of Commerce just put in, they're on the bad guy list, the same as Hawaii, for nobody can buy them. If you're a government contractor, you can't buy them. If you're the government, you can't buy them. You can't touch them for human rights violations. Now, these people make drones, but whatever the excuse, doesn't matter. No DJI. DJI has been difficult with the U.S. government, difficult with DoD, has been difficult at the FAA. They just push their tech beyond belief. By if they don't get their right answer, they will either buy a company, they will remove their products from a company so that they go out of business. I mean, it's kind of a nasty game. But if you piss them off enough, piss off the government enough, well, they'll take care of it. So they've taken care of it. The only problem is DJI makes great drones. They make a lot of great products, and so they're not going to be able to be in the portfolios. And so there isn't an alternative. That's the thing. There's other drone manufacturers, but nobody's got ones that do what DJI does. Easy to fly. They don't fly away. They have long range, high endurance, and they are significantly cheaper than anything else on the market by like an order of magnitude. So it'll be interesting times moving forward for the drone sector. If you've done some flying over the pandemic period, you've noticed something maybe. There's no excise taxes on your ticket because there's been a tax holiday. Well, come January 1st, the taxman cometh. So it may not be April yet, but you'll be paying excise taxes on your plane tickets from now on. No one is interested in continuing that tax holiday. They need to start, even in a small amount, replenishing the trust fund. Hey, for those of you that are maybe shoveling snow, like Mike Ball mentioned on Monday, I'd like to say that I wish you all a happy and wonderful and most importantly safe holiday. I'm sitting here and it's 70-something degrees, and I don't like to shovel snow, and I like to have a nice holiday in the heat. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are as well. Take care. I'll talk to you next week.